Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Dean. Nice to see you all again today. This is a nice surprise. Not really, because we plan on doing it all week. I say surprise just because I need to say stuff, right? It's like filling time. But anyway, welcome back. Nice to see you all. Locke is still on vacation. He's camping in the mountains with his lovely wife in their camper van that they had specially built without a toilet, by the way, which is still fucking absolutely amazing to me. Anybody that gets a camper van built and is like, you know what? I don't, optional bathroom. No thanks. I could just take a dump in the woods. Anyway, Locke will be back in a couple of weeks, but we have a full deck here. We've got some people sliding in, sliding out. Please welcome back to the program Ryan Dindal. Ryan Dindal, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who put Ryan Dindal there, but I your. That might be your.
You?
No, I swear to God, I never touched it.
Yeah, it says Ryan Dindal. That's fucking awesome.
That's gotta be. Is Rookie back there?
Rookie's in the back end because it's raining, right? So he's not outside working. So he changed your name to Ryan Dindal. That's Ryan Lindley. You can follow him on Twitter at Sheeple Shepherd is the podcast. You can download it as well. That's my friend Rob Kivlichan, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Kivlichan. Rob is the owner-operator of a law firm called Kivlaw, our partners and your partners, too. If you're looking for criminal defense attorneys, if you want to get your life back and you need some help navigating the legal system according to something you've done, something's done to you, what have you? Are you in trouble legally? Kivlaw.ca. And Rob's here to talk about a bunch of legal shit today, too, which is kind of nice. And, of course, from the Hot Wallet podcast, fresh off crypto crashing, please welcome Mr. Scott Trades, ladies and gentlemen. Scotty McGregor joins us.
What's up, guys?
Scott Trades is where you can find him. He's stockmarketmentor.com. Now, before we get started, we've got some recession stuff to get to. We got crypto stuff to get to. As much as I want to get away from the convoy bullshit, we've got more convoy stuff to get to because some extra evidence got dumped about the Emergencies Act reasoning. It wasn't great reasoning. Anyway, I'm fucking starting to vacillate between, hey, have we been hoodwinked by everybody here, including the government? But anyway, that's another story. We'll get to it. Tamara Lich's bail hearing's funny. Karima's live tweeting that. We'll talk to Rob a little bit about what he thinks. And I think there are going to be unpopular opinions among the woke crowd today. So I'm not upset by it either, by the way, because what we do is just try to chase down the real shit. However, let me say this. Speaking of the real shit, only one person on this panel, you see all these people on this panel, Scotty McGregor, Rob Kivlichan, Ryan Lindley, Dean Blundell. One of us was suspended from Twitter yesterday. One. Do you know which one it was? Let me answer the question for you before you even try to answer it. Wasn't me, wasn't Scott, wasn't Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Ryan Lindley.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I knew it. I knew it was coming to this, Lindley. I knew it.
I did too.
You've been a loose cannon for far too long.
He's fucked.
I got all cocky because we got you on the team now, so you know.
Yeah.
I actually felt like Twitter was less terrible today, so maybe this is why.
Oh, I would have totally been on there tweeting about how crypto crashed so hard you moved to a one-bedroom apartment in a shitty part of Toronto now.
Yeah. So Donald Trump almost overthrew the republic and threatened the peaceful transition of power, and he still stayed on Twitter. I don't know how you got suspended. Aside from the American Revolution, aside from the Civil War, they get a bit of a mulligan there.
Yeah.
That he threatened the peaceful transition of power, and he still stayed on Twitter. Mm-hmm. How did you manage to pull this off, Lindley? What'd you do?
Great question, Linz.
Who are you communicating with in those DMs? First off?
What happened? Who did you threaten yesterday? Did you threaten to throw someone in the lake? That works. Did you threaten to punch someone? That works. Did you threaten anybody? What did you do, and did you appeal it? Tell us how you got suspended out of all. I can't believe I have a fucking account if you got suspended. That's the truth.
I told you got that little shield, that little blue check mark keeps you fucking healthy, I guess. I don't know, but...
I'm probably getting arrested. It is
important.
So I'm actually, I'm trying to pull it up. I was reading about it earlier today about what rule I actually, because at first I didn't know. When they suspend your account, you go and log in. Like in the morning, you get up, I open Twitter just to see what's going on, and it went to the timeline like it normally would.
Yeah.
What's that?
The terrible thing to do is checking Twitter first thing in the morning.
No.
I try to never fucking.
So is the cigarette I smoke. That's terrible too. But I'm full of terrible fucking things, right? So I go out and I get through about 3 tweets, and then all of a sudden it just locks, it stops, and then that message comes up, and you can't do anything. You can't see anything. You can't look at your DMs. You can't do anything, right? So I said, okay, I wonder what I did. So I went to my email because I figured they'll email me. They'd never emailed me anything either to say what rule I'd broken. So I got into a few heaters last night with a couple of people over the convoy stuff, and I put a sarcastic tweet out about Justin Trudeau. That lady died at the convoy camp, so this one lady was screaming.
Who everybody was like, did you guys hear about that, by the way? It was like that convoy camp, a KOA camp near Renfrew, where a bunch of the convoyers that weren't allowed in Camp Eagle because they weren't cool enough, they went camping, and this one lady was quite sick, and she refused medical attention, and she just died, and everybody there's like, no big deal. Remember that?
They had a funeral procession for her, though, apparently. I bet you that was really special.
What were they protesting?
Rob's dying laughing.
Yeah. I bet you that was some pure class, though. Anyway,
dude,
so
they had a campground funeral, like an impromptu campground funeral for a lady who had COVID and died at the campground, who refused.
She got COVID?
Like, yeah, I think
no.
so. That's what
she had okay, so what we
COPD and
yes.
COVID?
Well, maybe with I don't know.
A smoker.
She had a medical issue. And it was a chronic thing, and she had an episode this week. She was told and advised by the medical professionals at the campground there, the ones that were at the convoy, you should probably go home. Even they had the sense to tell her that, and she didn't go. And I quote from the press progress report I read was, "You'll have to drag me out of here. I'm not leaving." And
that's
well,
the way it worked out.
That's just what happened, I guess. And I like when people get things they want. So anyway, so people were, on Twitter yesterday, and I'm not there to disparage the dead. It's sad. I don't care. Nobody does it like that. You died.
My sincerest condolences to her family and friends.
And that was it. And I did say that in my tweet. Me too. But I sent it to somebody who was saying, I blame Justin Trudeau for her death. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Now we're going to blame Justin Trudeau for this lady dying. So I said, FYI, Justin Trudeau killed this lady, just so you guys know. And I said, condolences to the family.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure that was it. That's going to be the one. That was the spreading false information about the prime minister being a murderer, right? So,
well, you're being sarcastic when you were doing it, but like
Twitter
there's no
doesn't
tone
understand
on the
that.
internet, right, boys?
Yeah,
like nobody, you can't get tone when you like today. Someone said something to me and like, shut the fuck up. I said to him, I'm talking on Twitter, and I'm like, I hope they don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah, we do that here all the time, but I don't see how that would go over well without at least a little laughy face.
You're funny. The woman going on about like her mix of whiteness and First Nations, and like your response, congrats on all the whiteness, was fucking.
Mm-hmm. So,
congrats.
And you know what? This is good for my story. I'm glad you guys are talking about this because you can hear about the things that you are allowed to do on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, I apparently broke a rule, and it was a pretty serious rule, I guess, because I didn't actually put any context to the tweet. And there was a shooting yesterday, one of 7 in the United States on Independence Day in Illinois, where a kid opened fire and killed 6 people, wounded 20 or 30.
Killed 8 now. 8 and 27 are injured, including this lady who literally, like, I fucking couldn't believe she posted this. This young woman, that's a bullet that grazed her face. She was in the middle of it. She's like, I've been going, she is a total badass. And she recorded a video. Let me just put this up for you, too. This is her showing, like,
she doesn't mess around.
This is in Highpark, Illinois. This is what you were talking about. You're going to get to why you got suspended for it. Tell me that isn't just intense. 7 mass shootings in the United States. That was obviously the worst one, Highpark, Illinois. This loser named Rob Cremo was like at the top of the building and he was shooting down. This is a little prick. I don't want to put him on here too long. He shot people and then he got dressed up in women's garb and he split. They caught up with him a few hours later, but it was just super tragic. And if you know Lynn's in how Ryan tweets, he's super, super empathetic and supportive. So
always.
Yeah, you are.
Always
well,
very-
generally speaking, of the things like this,
Things like
where
this.
human life and unjust and unfair is involved, you're fucking awesome at it.
Usually, yeah, right. So that's why I didn't even think about and then it dawned on me. It's like, oh shit, yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
So right after the show yesterday, when we got off, I was reading the tweets coming in about what was happening in Highpark, and and you know what happens as soon as they identify a shooter, like the internet sleuths go into their entire existence. They find their YouTube channels, they find their socials, and then they start posting everything.
Yeah, and then they just pillory you with a whole bunch of shit. Yeah,
and then all the places reel it back, and they take accounts down. You can't see it, but everybody's got it. The internet's forever, right? Yeah. So I had a feeling that was going to happen. There was a video that he had put out just before, I guess, that was very recent, that showed him, and it was more or less
like a music video thing where he was in a classroom. That one,
and he was prophet, like he was being a prophet, talking about how he has to do this and that, but he's not saying what he had to do. So there was no threat in the video.
Yeah,
which I thought, okay, so I grabbed the video and grabbed an actual copy of it. And later on, somebody, I think it was on a thread that we were talking on with somebody, one of our listeners. I'm not sure who it is because
I'm not suspended. Just so you know, I'm actually really nice. You're not.
Yeah, I know. Somebody that watches the show, I'd give him a shout out, and it's not your fault. Don't worry, but I can't even see who it was now because I can't. Like, it's literally locked, right? So, I posted that. I posted that video for them because they said, oh, they took it down. I'm like, well, that's the link. Here's the actual heart. But I didn't put any context with it. So apparently if you post those manifesto style things from these people, as long as you give context in style of a report, like if you're reporting on it, you can get away with putting clips up. And I only had like a short...
You could have posted it like you... So what you're saying is they wouldn't have locked your account had you said, here's the video of this douchebag serial killer who acted alone in Highpark, Illinois, and hurt all those people. Like that
exactly.
would have been okay.
It would have been fun. Well, they may have taken it down, but they would have at least it would have been a hey, you can't do that. Please don't do that. Mm-hmm. This was an actual suspension for 12 hours, saying you can't touch your account, you can't do anything, you can't read, you can't. And I'm like, oh, and they still wouldn't tell you why. And I still, if you put it back up, I may not be done. I may need to complete some additional tasks when I come back to Twitter, and I don't know what that means.
Arm sample.
Is it like do I have to take a sensitivity training course? Do I have to take...
I hope so. I really
wrestle a bear?
I really hope so.
I hope it's not one of those captures where you have to pick out all the buses.
I'll be fucked. I'll never come back to Twitter again. You'll find me on, what are they, Gab or whatever. I'll have to move to one of those low rent ones.
I've literally, like, those CAPTCHA things where it's like, click all the squares that have fire hydrants. Yep. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, because I'm gonna miss one for sure. I get caught in the CAPTCHA fucking circle of death every time I sign. To the point where I had to sign up for this thing that we're doing work for on behalf of this other company, and to get into their back end, they give you this CAPTCHA thing, and it's like, click fire hydrant, and I got it wrong like 4 times in a row, and they're like, okay, should we go with boats? Can you find the boats in this, you stupid fucking idiot? I get all the boats wrong, and they're like, okay, how about buses? Those are bigger than fire hydrants and boats. And I'm like, you know what, fuck you, app. I'm not even logging into the back end of this business at all anymore. Forget it. Not interested in the CAPTCHA hell at all. It's like a circle. It's like a ring of death.
Ryan's not getting it back. Sorry, man, you're locked out.
So
I hope you have to do like sensitivity training, and like it's like when lawyers have to do equity and diversity training. That's just great. I shouldn't talk smack about EDI, but like our CPD, like
there we go.
It's so patronizing.
I got 17 minutes left on my sentence. So just like Tamara Lich, I'm getting bail in 17 minutes.
Who knows? So, the Crown's taking 2 hours to make their submissions. I'm following Corinna on Twitter, so who knows if she's getting bail? Although she should, though.
So while we're here on the show, I'll find out exactly what the extra measures that I may have to take are. But
hopefully it's a sperm sample.
Well, a lot of people, and it's funny. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, you appeal it and do that." It's like, no. See, this is the difference. When I saw that, I laughed. I went, "Oh, I fucked up." Learned how I fucked up and said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm on a private space that's owned by somebody else that allows me to be here. I broke a rule that they wanted me to follow. I'll take my 12 hours. Sorry, Twitter. You were right. I was wrong. Won't happen again. I'm not taking the Jordan Peterson approach to fucking appealing my Twitter suspension. That's the stupidest thing. People actually get mad.
Yeah,
this is such a part of their life, and they're so.
Did you see Petey? Did you see Petey? I call him Petey. Jordan Peterson. Did you see Petey losing his fucking mind over losing his account? Because they did the same thing to him because he went after Elliot Page. He called
Jay Pizzle.
Jay Peasy. Jay Peasy. Hey, Rob. Jay Peasy got fucking banned. So, dude, he got banned like a couple of days before you, right? And he went after Elliot Page, went after her surgeons, called her surgeon a butcher. His surgeon a butcher. Pardon me. Thank you very much. Old habits die hard. It's important to progress and evolve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Went after his butcher surgery. Went after everybody and anything to do with Elliot Page and his sexual reassignment surgery. So Twitter, understandably, because he dead named him. He dead named Elliot. And not allowed to do that. Again, it's in the things. And so Twitter's like, hey, we're going to lock your fucking account like yours unless you take that tweet down. Well, holy fuck. Not only did he not take the tweet down, we'll get to it in just a second. He pretended like he was going to go on some kind of crusade for every other dumb white fuck who gets mad when their Twitter account gets locked because they were a dumb white fuck.
It's so good.
He literally recorded like a 5-minute video. We broke it down into a couple minute clips. Rob, Scotty, I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's beautimous. It's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. If you wanted a real fucking window into this man's soul, just see how dumb and stupid and triggered he is, and literally emotionally devolved, like totally unwell. This is it. Watch this. By the way, how Ryan handled having his account locked. Now I want to show you how a guy that Ryan does not have a degree in psychology, does not have a PhD
in clinical psychology.
He has not written a self-help book called 12 Ways to Clean Your Room and Pet a Cat. He's done none of those things. No one follows him for life advice. Ryan took it on the chin because he got suspended. He's like, fuck it. Doesn't matter. This is how Jordan Peterson handled it. Watch this.
Hello, everyone. A few days ago, I penned an irritated tweet in response to one of the latest happenings on the increasingly heated culture war front. In response to the decision of an actor named Ellen Elliot Page, I am employing this awkward and impossible naming style because it is now apparently mandatory and am probably doing it wrong nonetheless, as you're doing it wrong is the whole point of what is being made mandatory. But also, I'm trying to make a point. I've essentially been banned from Twitter as a consequence. I say banned, although technically I have been suspended. Yes. But the suspension will not be lifted unless I delete the hateful tweet in question, and I would rather die than do that. And hopefully it will not come to that, although who the hell knows in these increasingly strange days.
Wow. Why does he care so much?
We were
Why
right there.
Why does he care so much about someone else?
He's so unwell. Like, this is the thing. He's mentally ill. Yeah. Like, this is like, that's, I mean, I'm not qualified to make that statement. I just
he's emotionally detached and mentally very unwell and not treated, and seems to be overtly angry. He would rather die than delete a tweet. And then did you hear what he said at the end of it? He's like, I hope it doesn't come to that.
Rob, put your lawyer hat on for a sec. So let's say, hypothetically, Jordan Peterson goes out and shoots up a bank today. Yeah. And you're defending him in court. Would you play that in his defense? Be like, he just put this out just so you guys know this is what we're dealing with.
Well, here's the thing is, NCR,
like mental insanity, that excuse. Yeah. Oh, he was fucked. He can't.
Yeah, not criminally responsible. Yeah.
He's not guilty. He's fucked.
Like, be like, could you not show that as evidence and say, look, this is how he talked right before he went and loaded the gun. Yeah. And
so not criminally responsible, if that's where you're going with that, is an unconscious. Is that background music with the stream?
Yeah, no, it's I put it
It's
on
us.
because I feel more comfortable when I'm playing lounge sex music. That's just my thing. Yeah.
I was like, I
have to,
party?
dude. Do you want to? I feel like I'm at Oasis Lounge, getting ready to go balls deep right now.
Like,
all right.
The thing about it, not criminally responsible is an unconstitutionally high standard, I think, anyway. So to be able to prove that somebody basically didn't appreciate the nature of their actions and didn't appreciate that that they're that mentally unwell, that they didn't appreciate that it was a crime and the nature of their actions. And there's some more to it, but for our purposes, that'll suffice. I mean, it's a very high bar. I've seen people, I've decided to not bring it for a paranoid schizophrenic who went off their meds and decided to crack a police officer because they were hallucinating. They didn't meet the standard.
I still think
it's a very
Jordan
high standard.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, it gets better too. Like if you that first one didn't meet the standard, where he's like, I'd rather die than hit delete with my thumb
on a tweet for some
on a
words.
Tweet that prevents me from making more money because I'm that much of a fuck. Anyway, here's clip number 2. If number 1 wasn't wacko enough,
Utter carelessness of the Twitter organization with regard to the propriety of its own censorial actions.
Word salad.
I should at least know exactly what I did wrong if I am required to acknowledge that my tweet violated the Twitter rules.
Holy
What
fuck.
rules, you sons
Shatner.
of bitches? Exactly. Precisely. Because such things matter when the accusations start flying.
What?
So what did I say that might constitute harassment? Well, many things, hypothetically. Let's begin with, remember when pride was a sin? Although that is merely a factual statement, because under the old rules, applicable even a decade ago, pride was a sin and had been recognized as perhaps the cardinal sin for thousands of years previously. It still might be regarded as unacceptable to the woke authoritarian moralists who now insist, for example, that we celebrate Pride Month, not hour or day or week, but month, and who have literally called it Pride Month instead of LGBT plus month or whatever else alphabet acronym which is currently insisted upon as the only acceptable enlightened terminology. I don't regard pride as a virtue. It has been classically regarded as a sin. I don't see that sexual orientation or sexual desire of any sort is something to celebrate or to take pride in. And so what I said was merely a fact. Now, it's possible that I hurt someone's feelings because I pointed out that pride goes before, for example, a fall, but I don't care about that, would do it again. And also consider it my duty to warn those who are about to fall into a pit that the path they are on leads suddenly downhill.
Oh, I should have listened to him
Okay,
yesterday.
so there we go. There's Jordan Peterson with even more crazy, where he basically says, all I wanted to do, he was gonna, listen, all I was saying is that pride is a sin. So right there, what he's telling us is that he believes in the Bible. He knows what's going on. Nobody else does. And we should all be totally cool with the fact that he tweeted this. And let me put the tweet up for you. Remember when pride was a sin? And Elliot Page, dead named her, had her breasts removed by a criminal physician. That's not a nice thing to tweet. Not only is it not a nice thing to tweet, it's highly homophobic. And it is highly damaging to the person. And without doing anything, Elliot Page had Jordan Peterson dormied on Twitter for the last few days. Now, remember when he said he was going to quit? Remember when he said he was like, I'm not interested in this. Fuck you guys. I'd rather die than delete that tweet. Well, guess what he did?
He deleted it.
He deleted the tweet.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Yesterday.
Can you believe
can't live
anything
with
that guy says?
No.
Like, you can't, in my opinion. And in my, I did a little Google search. This is not the first time that he's doxed people. Like, he's known for doxing students and activists who are against him. Mm-hmm. And so if he's putting out information about Elliot Page's surgeon or something like that could potentially put them in danger, I mean, that's not the first time that he's done something like that.
No.
Oh, this was for hateful conduct, though. That's why he was suspended. It wasn't about a dox. He didn't actually name the doctor, but he did break the rules on hateful conduct towards another Twitter user. So, yeah. T-minus 7 minutes till my bail hearing.
Oh,
yeah.
Excited to see if you get back on Twitter after.
Well, I can share my screen and show you what happens when I go back in.
Let me get through the last of the
sure.
Jordan Peterson clips too, because this is my favorite one. It's only 36 seconds long too. This is where he it's the denouement. Do you know what a denouement is, everybody? Yeah, in classical
No, I have
writing.
no idea. And what's doxing?
Doxing is where you actually, you don't know what doxing is? You're a fucking criminal lawyer. You're my criminal lawyer.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
You put the name out of someone's name. So if I was the doctor who worked on Elliot Page, I would, me releasing that person's name, address, and how to get in touch with them, so that activists could attack them.
Yeah,
that would be doxing.
It's like getting swatted, right? I heard that term SWAT, where people get swatted on video games and stuff, where they're like, you got to go to this guy's house. He's planning something bad while they're playing video games, and SWAT teams actually show up in the live stream. They start looking for stuff. It's the same thing, but it's the digital version of being swatted. So I don't know if Jordan did it, but I can tell you this. He still wasn't mad. And this is he deleted the tweet literally a day after he put this video out. Watch this.
I'm not taking down that tweet or acknowledging that my tweet violated the Twitter rules. Not taking down that tweet or acknowledging that my tweet violated the Twitter rules.
Yeah.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Yeah.
We'll see who cancels who. Twitter's a rat hole in the final analysis, and I have probably contributed to that while trying to use, understand, and master that horrible, toxic platform. No doubt I owe some apologies for that, and I'm trying to learn, but it's a relief in some real sense to be banned, and I regard it under the present conditions as a badge of honor.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame then, because the fucking loser actually, literally less than 24 hours after going, I will not delete that tweet. It's a fucking badge of honor. Screw you, screw Twitter. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll delete the tweet.
He probably tried to sign up to Truth Social and couldn't get in, and screw it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, he's addicted. He's addicted to Twitter, and he's addicted to the amount of followers he has on Twitter. And it's the only thing that sells his books and his shit. So
that's true. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Stay on it. He had to apologize, so he lost again. That guy takes L's more than anybody I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Oh, yeah.
And he keeps coming back for more. He is an L machine. He's like a vending machine. He makes it rain L's. Everything he says and everywhere he goes. And he's so angry about it every time he takes one. But they're fucking automatic.
Get in, losers. We're going losing.
It's yeah.
And I know,
Get in, losers. It's time to go losing.
I shouldn't be saying this at all, but he just reminds me of somebody who was bullied mercilessly in high school.
Yeah.
And he's never let it go.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, because I get the feeling that he was tortured by people in high school because he was this loser in high school, and then he got away from high school, went to university, carved out this incredible reputation as some kind of cerebral social genius, and then the fucking rug came out from underneath him when he started with benzos and going on fucking Russian meat diets and and all of a sudden it's just too much for him, and he reverted back into the same loser that kept getting his ass kicked in the 8th grade for being that very loser, right?
He had this snot extracted from him by two people named Ellen and Elliot, and this has flipped the switch on him. Apparently, both Ellen and Elliot are back.
It's fucking unbelievable, isn't it? Elliot didn't need to do anything other than be Elliot to literally take him down. That was one of the most colossal fucking over calculations of someone's own self-importance that I've ever seen in my life. He's like, I'm taking Twitter down. I'm Jordan Peterson. Fuck you guys. I'm not deleting shit. And then literally the day after he puts out the video where he's like, fuck you, woke mob, I'm coming after you, he's like, delete.
Wait, I can't go after them without Twitter.
Dean, your video to Jordan when you guys were in that internet fight,
yeah,
I must have watched that video 100 times. It was the funniest
What did I say? I don't even remember what I said.
You were golfing and getting into a fight with Jordan Peterson over the internet.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're bad at internet fighting.
He's fucking
I don't care
terrible
about
at
this at all.
Yeah, I don't. Like, that's the thing. Jordan came after me, and I didn't know he was coming after me until it was like 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I'm trending across Canada, and it's like, Jordan Peterson's coming after you. I'm like, I don't fucking care. And then I looked at the way he was trying to fight with me. He's like, you must be a very immature man. I'm like, you don't know how to do this, do you, fuckface? Like, you have no concept of how to have a Twitter fight. Like, zero. And so I said, dude, I'm going to make your life miserable. Like I made Randy's life miserable. Like I made Doug Ford's entire family miserable for the whole year. And so now that's my goal. So when Ryan got locked in, like Jordan Peterson, when Ryan got locked, his account got locked, I'm like, fuck, now we get to play those Jordan Peterson videos and I get to shit all over him for being the pussy that he really is. Because listen, if I say something like, I would rather die than do that, you can guarantee I would rather die than do that. But if someone said delete the tweet or die, I'd be like, fuck, no problem. I'll delete the tweet. Like, I don't even care what it is. Like, I have no principles when it comes to that. Zero. Because I'm not an idiot. And I'm not going to bargain my entire life on deleting a tweet. If you wanted to know how fucked someone is, that's how fucked he is, where he's like, kill me.
Yeah, exactly. David Mosscrop murders Jordan Peterson multiple times a day. Every time he calls him Dr. Meat Sweats, I get weak in the teeth.
you know what Mosscrop said? I got to have him back on the show this week. You know what Mosscrop said to Peterson after he tweeted out one of those videos? He's like, fuck, dude, I liked you better when you were in a coma.
Oh man, no, you know what? Wade brought something up really good, and I think I'm going to do it. I'm not going to tweet anything. I'm going to do a video just like Jordan about my Twitter suspension. I'm going to do it in the style of Jordan Peterson. Oh,
you got to do it with like the black in the background too, and you got to say like really ridiculously stupid, like overstatements of your own self-importance, like this.
I'm not taking down that tweet or acknowledging that my tweet violated the Twitter rules. Up yours, woke moralist.
Yeah, I'll change the tempo and the pitch and the volume in my words as I'm talking about what I'm gonna get mad about. And
it's like his mom like cut him off from Dungeons and Dragons, and so that's why he's pissed. Like,
it really is. It's like a petulant teenager.
Yeah, like, I'm not cleaning my room.
Fuck you. And then it's like, well, you don't get cake unless you clean your room. And he's like, I'll clean it.
Yeah,
I wrote the book about cleaning rooms.
Yeah. Like...
Holy fuck. Anyway, I tried to get away from the Jordan Peterson stuff. Not really. I actually run right towards it. But the content I try to get away from is the convoy stuff. And I couldn't get away from it today because Tamara Lich. Are you guys following Corinna? By the way, Tamara Lich's her bid for freedom since getting picked up again. For violating what I believe to be her bail conditions. She's in a breach hearing today. This is just a quick snippet that I took from Karima's feed, just so you know. She's followed this whole thing today at Karima Rules. Rob, you're here to talk about this. The only new evidence relating to charges, text message that says, I have a plan to put the gridlock in the city. I don't want to make those decisions on my own. Not clear cut as to Lich having a plan. In fact, she was unsure how to proceed. Evidence of breach is less than a 3-second interaction at an awards dinner and a photo of Lich and Tom Marazzo. Defense says they couldn't identify anyone at the table, didn't know where counsel was situated, blah, blah, blah. Effectively, Karima in this thread, and it is like miles long. She's been at it since early this morning, and we've all been following her. But effectively in this thread,
not all of us.
She kind of lays, not you, because by the way, are you back yet? Are you back?
I am.
How many more minutes? Are you in?
It's done. I can do this now.
Congratulations. Hey, he's back on Twitter. Linz is back on Twitter.
Oh, wow. He's out of Twitter jail.
You know why?
Over.
You ate it. You ate it, and you're like, I get it. I fucked up. No big deal. I got suspended. I'll see you in 12 hours. Like, look at that. He's back.
You know what's shocking?
Here we are.
That we have to explain how a well-adjusted person handles something.
You just have to delete the tweet.
That's it. Fucking unbelievable.
See? This is what he got. This is a
great lesson. What are you doing here, Linz? Take us through it, because Kiv wants us to talk about social responsibility here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So what they've determined is that my account violated a Twitter rule, specifically for violating our rules, as it says there. One of our rules. Let me see if it actually tells us what it is.
I want to see what
incredible.
it is.
No, but this is how an
anyway,
adult male.
while that loads up, it's probably trying to. It's
got a lot of porn.
So as a result, we've locked your account, and what you can do to unlock the account, you must do the following. Step 1: delete the content that violates the rule. 1 tweet. If you think we made a mistake, contact our support team. I will not be contacting their support team because they're probably busy on the phone with Jordan. So here, I believe, is where it was perpetrators of a violent attack, and it's inside this subsection of their rules. And I think that's where my tweet, because it was shared
we will
without
remove
context,
any accounts maintained by individuals, perpetrators of terrorist, violent extremists, mass violent attacks. Also may remove tweets disseminating manifestos. Yeah, the guy had a manifesto. That was what you tweeted out. It was a retweet.
That would have been mine.
Where do I get it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So fuck yeah, you broke the rules. You broke Twitter's rules. Yeah. So what do you do? You're like, yeah.
So let's hit start.
No big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the tweet. And look at this. Wait. By clicking delete, you acknowledge that your tweet violated the Twitter rules. I've done that audibly, and now I'm going to do it electronically.
Congratulations.
Thank you for addressing the issue. Look at that. I can use my Twitter account.
We now know what Jordan had to do.
Well,
yeah.
It looked onerous, didn't it? My God, are you okay? Are you going to make it, Linz? Are you going to be all right? Are you going to man it?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
All right. It's so fucked. It's so fucked. And dude, like the same thing's going on over in Ottawa too. Like we were talking about Corinna. She's covering this whole thing. And Rob, I want to talk to you about it because Corinna's been covering not the Peterson trial. That'll be probably in about 6 months from now.
Yeah, right.
But she's covering Tammy Lich's bail hearing. Now, over the past few days, we've seen a bunch of information come forward. I want to get to Tammy's bail hearing in just a second and get your thoughts on it. But they're effectively, the government of Canada and the Crown Prosecutor's Office is like basically hanging a breach of bail on Tamara Lich over a 3-second video of her interacting with this guy named Tamara. She told she shouldn't. Doesn't matter. She did. She breached bail conditions. But I want to talk about the humanity behind this shit in just a second. Before we get to that, though, I want to ask you about some of this information that's coming out, right? Like we've seen a couple of news articles and a couple of stories get pumped out, including one that suggests Brad Wall, or as I like to call him, Brad Wall Goodman, who's the former premier of Saskatchewan, and he's also a lawyer, had 26 different interactions with convoy protesters. It says here, Chris Barber's, they used an extraction device. Fuck, I love this stuff. Universal forensic extraction device scan of Barber's cell phone said that there were 26 text messages between the former premier and Chris Barber, who is out on bail for organizing this whole mess back in February. And he said stuff like, I think the convoy is creating elbow room for provinces to begin to move away from mandates. And he told Chris Barber to look at it like it was a victory of sorts. And then he suggested that they take the money that they made through the convoy and donate it, like just donate it to other people. On the same date, he asked Barber, is it your sense that you might be in time to claim victory and end the occupation, that it might be time to claim victory and end the occupation? He also told Barber that his daughter lives in Ottawa and provided her cell phone number for her boyfriend, who said was willing to help deliver supplies to the convoy insurrectionists. That's nice, isn't it? Guy's former premier of the province. So a couple of things in there that I didn't like seeing, but it was just like kind of overt interactions with a guy that was trying to plan something. I don't want to get to it. It doesn't really matter. But it wasn't just him. It was Brad Wall, and then it was Pat King. They were talking about how Pat King lied about not being one of the organizers. Emails coming out about him actually being one of the organizers, but not really. And then to Tammy Lich's bail hearing, she's too stupid to be an organizer. You're seeing this in every interaction that we've seen with Tammy and Pat and all the stuff that I've read. And I tweeted this out today. Of all the stuff I've read, watching Tammy Lich's bail hearing, I'm starting to like really, really ask questions about what they have on these guys. And if they don't show us something fairly soon, I'm starting to move away from like fucking lock them all up. And I'm moving more towards okay, what are you doing, Trudeau? What are you doing to these people? What do you have on them? Because we have seen nothing to justify, at least I haven't, personally,
they don't have
socially?
anything.
They don't?
So the breach that they issued a Canada-wide warrant for this breach, which effectively was she was not allowed to be in the same room as this guy. And this is common. Bail courts are often, they pick them up for breach. So the police can, if they have evidence to suggest that you breached a condition of your recognizance, which is a recognizance is a formal term for what you're given after a formal bail hearing. So if they hold you for bail the first time, you're given a recognizance. If they release you from the station, you're released on an undertaking or a promise to appear with some conditions as well. And so she was said not to communicate with this guy. She was in the same room as him, and then the photo was taken. The point is, this is a minor breach. This is like she's reorganized another protest or another event. I mean, Pat King, not Pat Quinn, the late great, but Pat King couldn't organize a ham sandwich. I mean, from what I saw, and you know, the whole point is this breach is nothing. Okay. And
that's the impression that I get.
They don't have anything on these people.
Yeah, that's the impression that I get. I'm just going to bring up Karima's tweet. Evidence of breach is less than a 3-second interaction at an award dinner and a photo of Lich and Marazzo. Listen, I don't like these people either, right? Like, I fucking think Pat King on his own should be in jail for a multitude of other things. Not this, still. That's my opinion. Same with Tammy Lich. Every interaction I've seen with her, she's dumber than FizzWiz. She seriously is the dumbest person I have ever seen in any kind of like comeuppance like this. I've never, ever, ever seen a group of people that are this stupid that are somehow culpable of masterminding this kind of shit. Like, I don't see it. And I read the CTV articles and saying, hey, watch out for Brad Wall. I don't see it. Same thing with Pat King. They're like, hey, Pat King lied about being involved. Well, fucking of course he did. But then when they listed all the things that he was involved in, again, it was just all the shit that we knew. So is this like, are we looking at the Trudeau government covering up their own fucking total incompetence when it came to what happened? Or are we looking at criminal masterminds getting away with murder? And I'd like to think it's kind of a little of A and a little of B, but I don't know, man. I'm fucking confused because I was like, I'm the one, all of us, we were leading the charge with flags going, fucking lock them up, fucking put them in jail, handcuff them, taser them. I want to see someone piss their pants. And now, well, to be fair, I was the only guy that said that. Lachlan may have said it too. He wanted to see someone piss themselves.
Have you seen replays of people pissing themselves when they get tased? It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's the best. Yeah. I've seen someone shit themselves in a video.
It like pulsates. It comes out in like a pulsated squirt.
Yeah. But
can't say I've seen this.
What is this, Robbie? Is this incompetence on behalf of the Trudeau government? Have they been fucking lying to us about the severity of what these people do? And the Emergencies Act. Like, I've stayed away from talking about all this shit while the crazies are like, they didn't justify using the Emergencies Act. And I'm like, well, fucking they kind of did, because people were camping out on the streets and taking a dump in the highway and fucking making everybody around them uncomfortable. But like, what do you see here from a criminal perspective when it comes to what they're trying to hang on these guys?
So and the charges are pretty minor. Obstruct peace officer, intimidation. So they're proceeding by way of indictment, which means I gave a little summary on this, but it basically means that it's more serious. They're going to be seeking a longer custodial term and a significantly higher fine. The point is that what they did, here's the thing, you have freedom of association and peaceful assembly is allowed. From what I saw, there was no overt violence on the part. I think that their methods were ridiculous. Shutting down Ottawa just pissed people off, and it totally took away from their message, I believe. But at the end of the day, I don't think they did anything, that illegal for this whole horse and pony show. But what they're trying to do is to send a message to people. Listen, don't do this. Don't be Tamara Lich. Don't, shut down a major metropolitan center, because you're upset with government policy. Well, actually, that's freedom of association. That you're allowed to protest peacefully. Okay, that's your charter right in Canada. So I don't think that I don't like Tamara Lich. I think the convoy leaders were idiots, and what they did was the way they went about it. Their message was lost. But I think a lot of this comes down to, the government, the federal government's just trying to send a message here, and the Office of the Crown Attorney in Ottawa is trying to send a message here, like, listen, don't do this, don't come here and do this, and we're gonna really come after you if you do this, and that's their prerogative. And here's the point: she did breach, but is she releasable? Absolutely. Like, I've gotten people charged with first-degree murder out on bail. Like,
seriously?
Yeah. Actually, kind of made new law with that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
If they're presumed to be innocent, okay?
Okay, shot him right in the face and out the next day.
Presumed to be innocent, okay? Yeah. You must benefit from the presumption of innocence, okay? Yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding. I love you. You're not an asshole.
I know.
So wouldn't this send a negative message though if they just get out? Like, wouldn't Pat King go on YouTube and be like, "You see, guys, I told you we can do whatever we want."
No. Well, Pat Quinn's still in jail, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Pat King, by the way, not Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn's dead.
He's still a legend.
The big fella.
Quinn's dead. Yeah. The big Irishman.
One of the greatest big Irishman, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NHL, the greatest coach in the history of the Maple Leafs organization. Say what you like about everybody.
Stunning smile too.
Yeah, just one of the greatest, dude.
Not a single and tough as shit. Knocked out Bobby Orr. What a guy.
Yeah, he actually put me, quick aside, he put me through a Leafs hockey practice once. It was like during the lockout years and years and years ago. We got a chance to go. They're like, hey, fuck, bring media people in and we'll put them through their paces. And Pat Quinn hated media people. And so he came up to me. He was like, who are you with? And like on the ice, he's like getting ready to do a drill. And he's like, who are you with? I'm like, oh, I'm with a rock radio station. We don't talk about all the other shit those losers do. We actually like you. And he's like, you're the captain. And then he winked at me and he told me to get going.
I worked when I worked for City Hall here in town. We actually named an arena after him, and I worked for the counselor in the ward where we named the arena, and we fought to have that. His mom's still, I think she's passed now, but back then still lived in the East Hamilton as well. So
yeah, he's from the Hammer. He was from the Hammer.
Yeah, dude, he's one of the greats.
Super nice.
Anyway, from Pat Quinn to Pat King. Scotty, you asked a great question, and I don't know, like when we talk about the criminality portion of what they did, there's criminality here, right? We know that there's criminality here because of what they did, but I mean, and you said it too, Rob, Canada-wide warrant, breach of bail condition based on 3 seconds of video. And a couple of social media tweets. The fact that they interviewed a couple of cops as part of her breach bail conditions who followed her around and went to all of these things with her. Like, they literally have been following her. Like, RCMP officers have been following her since she's been let out of jail. And they're banking on that 3 seconds being the one that puts her in jail for a long period of time. Like, that's what they're banking on. And same with Pat. They put out this fucking thing. They're like, hey, because this is where all the information came from, is a scoop from all the phones that they grabbed of all the organizers, right? And the information on these phones told us everything we already knew, with the exception that Brad Wall, the former Saskatchewan premier, was involved in helping these guys. And that was minimal, right? That was nominal help. It was like, hey, you know what? You might not want to do this. You might want to do that. You might want to think about doing this. I didn't see, as much as I hated this movement and these people, I mean, maybe I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't see any criminality in there.
If anything, Brad Wall was trying to keep them from breaking laws and keep them between the lines, and gave them good advice. Said, listen, you made your point. Things are good. Use it as a trophy. Brag about it. Donate the money to charity. And pull up stakes. You've won here. This is good. And they just didn't listen to him. And he was the only one that was on the inside, well, formerly on the inside, giving them sage advice. They should have taken it, because you know what? They could have kept that money. I'll bet you they would have been able to keep that money.
Oh, that sucks,
if they would have listened to him.
Hey, boys. Oh, that's a shame. That's a crime.
At least maybe, I don't know about keep, but they would at least have grounds to fight for it. And it wouldn't have been like bank accounts wouldn't have been seized, refunds, GoFundMe, Give, Send, Go bullshit wouldn't have like I really think they overshot their shot is what they did. I'm
starting to think so too, and I was like 100% like fucking, and I hate to say it, I was like 100% team fuck you to that group, right?
Same.
And now I'm not. now I'm like, no, fuck you to all the bad actors and stuff like that. But like, the lengths that they're going to make the lives of these people completely fucking miserable for way longer than the 3 weeks they made other lives miserable is just egregious to me, Rob. Like, and I don't like these people at all.
It's over the top, what they're doing going out. But again, like, malicious prosecution is a very high bar. And to prove that, it's almost impossible to prove malicious prosecution. The point is, the Crown has discretion. They had evidence to suggest that she breached, but to issue a Canada-wide warrant for a very minimal bail breach, that's absurd. That's overkill. But again, they're trying to send a message here that you can't behave the way this woman did and the way Pat King did. And if you do, we're going to pursue you to the full letter of the law. In fact, we're going to go over the top about it. And so that's their call, and they're allowed to do that. Prosecutorial discretion is a wide swath, and it's non-reviewable.
So I think we're going really, really deep into giving a lot of credit where credit is not due yet. And like, I don't want to get too optimistic about, getting the warm fuzzies for these people. The feds still have some time.
Dude, relax.
I know, but the feds still have some time to prove a case here. And what was it, 6 months? They got to show why they use the Emergencies Act. There might be things like, literally, we talked about this before. There might be things that are important to national security. We're talking about a separatist party heads that got together to do this. And yes, she's an idiot, but she was also on the inside of that party.
Yeah.
These are people that are not right. And I've always had
they're dragging it out, though. Do you think there's a question? Do you think that they're dragging out the evidence drops and all the other stuff? And do you think they have way more? Like, that's the thing. Because I'm like, oh fuck, Brad Wall's name came out. That was pretty early in the dissemination of the evidence that they say they gathered. So then I'm thinking to myself, because this is my conspiracy mind. I hate conspiracy theorists, but when it comes to this stuff, I'm like, ooh, maybe they're just going to kind of leak stuff. Maybe one day they'll put this guy's name out the next day. So because I'm expecting, because Brad Wall's name came out, I'm expecting Doug Ford's name to come out. I'm expecting, because it happened here, right? Who did he
this
talk
is it.
to?
Well, remember he had his guy that he didn't send out to French. Ottawa.
Yeah.
Remember? So we're dealing with, there's still so many pieces of this puzzle that haven't been fit back into where they're supposed to be to show us. Yeah. And it might be for a good reason, right? So
maybe
who knows? The one thing the Liberal government is absolutely, they're horrible for a lot of things, but you know what they're absolutely horrible for? Keeping fucking secrets and not leaking shit. And remember, like, WE scandals, everything comes from internal. By this point, I'm pretty sure a whistleblower would have knocked this off of a shelf to say.
Well, you would think so, because they keep taking it in the mouth publicly. Everybody's like, dude, you got nothing. You got nothing on these guys. And it's starting to come out that they got nothing on these guys, other than what we already know, which to me is like, yeah, it's bad. Sure, you keep them in jail for a bit. You give them a bunch of orders, maybe get them to rehab, all the other stuff. But it's not like Canada-wide warrant, lock them up in jail for months at a time with no end in sight.
Two homicide detectives went and picked her up.
I know.
It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd that it's gotten that far that we're doing Canada-wide warrants. I've only seen Canada-wide warrants only ever exercised for very serious crimes where somebody's a danger to the public. Yeah. And I'm sorry, like, Tamara Lich is a lot of things, but she's not dangerous. And it wouldn't surprise me if even CSIS were following these people. And the thing about it is also, speaking more towards the evidence that's coming out, they got a mass amount of evidence. They did, especially when you do an extraction on someone's phone.
Yeah.
It is massive what you get out. I mean, think about your phone. You can't delete anything off a hard drive unless you throw it in sulfuric acid or fire. So there's always an imprint on the hard drive, on any hard drive. And so your phone goes with you everywhere. You do your shopping with it. It's got a record of where you go, so
mine gets uploaded to China.
Yeah. There's a mass amount of information, so they're still sifting through that. And there's only a certain amount of resources that they can devote to particular files. Right. So it's not uncommon for evidence to roll out months post the disclosure requests.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you're seeing that with the J6 stuff, right? Like they're stopping like trials and having surprise appearances because information just kind of keeps coming in. And that was like a significant period of time prior to actually us going through the same thing. So, I mean, who knows? I also love the spy shit where they're like, we grabbed a universal scanning device and we actually stole everything off these things. I'm like, holy fuck, you guys can do that? You guys can scan people's phone. You can suck all the information out of someone's phone. That's unbelievable. I want one.
Extraction reports are ridiculous. Like I'm talking hundreds upon hundreds of pages. Sometimes you're reading their text.
Unreleased Blind Monday singles on there that we haven't heard yet?
I heard her doing a cover of Janis Joplin. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit when I heard that. I'm like, how dare you? You don't touch Janis. You don't touch Janis.
Oh, man. She has to put up, I think, 37 grand. She could use some money right now. Maybe OnlyFans for Tammy Lich. You want to see her on OnlyFans? No? You guys?
She doesn't have a wrench like Sheep King JB. That's for damn sure. Oh, my God.
Or maybe she does.
Dude, he's in the comment section. He loves you. He can't even believe that you signed up to follow him. He's like, God, I'm so glad that he followed me because it's all chicks to follow me to look at my wrench. He's happy that you followed him to look at his wrench.
Best part is his face in every one of the photos. It's the best part because he's just like, yeah,
that's what this is. Yeah. You're right. You're looking at this thing. It's that big. Yeah, that's right.
You paid to look at this.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of paying and OnlyFans, and maybe Tammy can get on it. There's an article that came out this week, and as a matter of fact, we actually put it out. Rookie does it. He's our Mr. Epidermis. He didn't even use his Mr. Epidermis account for this, which is nice. Have you guys heard of Corinna Kopf?
No.
You haven't? You haven't heard of Corinna Kopf? No? Anybody here? Hands up. No? Corinna Kopf. Kopf, I believe is how you say her last name. Kopf. Corinna Kopf. She's very famous model. And as a matter of fact, I just found out she was an Instagram model. Then she was like, I don't know, a TikTok. I don't know, are you a TikTok model? Do you model on TikTok or just do funny videos about the prime minister and then like, with visuals going around your head and like, boom, I'm done my TikTok video. Look at me, I'm famous. Anyway, Corinna Kopf is an influencer and she's an OnlyFans influencer. Now, Corinna is fascinating because we put up this article on her, and I knew who she was. Not that I actually peruse her stuff, but I know who she is because of what
whatever.
You're right. I have a hard drive full of her stuff.
Sure, Jen.
Right. I'm a subscriber. So she's been on OnlyFans for 9 months now. 9 months. She went from like Instagram and all that other stuff, making like influencer money, and she's like, "Fuck this. Where's OnlyFans? Like, I want the real money."
Yeah.
This is the amount of money she made in 9 months. Will make you fucking, speaking of throwing up in your mouth, she made $10 million in 9 months on OnlyFans.
Wow.
$10 million.
Christ.
June 2021, she logs on. She makes $2.5 million in 1 month. Then she makes $1.7 million. Then 1.26, then 1, then 9, then 9, and then another million. So she hovers around. February was a slow month. She only made $683,000.
Economy started slowing.
It is the shortest month. It is the shortest month.
You got to see Rob. Rob just lifted his head up from his phone because he checked her out on his phone, not his work computer. You know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you? Corinna Kopf. She's a very attractive woman.
She's
10 million. This is her fucking bank statement from OnlyFans. Just checking her out, just looking at her naked, videos, pictures. People paid between $6 a month and $36 a month just to have access to her nudes. And doing that, she made 10 million, actually almost 11, in 9 months. Scott, how do you hide that from the government? And is that possible? Like, is it possible that a guy like me, just a little guy like me, might be able to make?
Here we go.
Couple million on OnlyFans.
Well, I think you start by not posting that publicly. I think that's the first way to hide that kind of money. I mean,
Tasty Pasty 69 is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
That should be my name. I think I'm the whitest guy on this call.
You are. I was talking to you.
Yeah. It's hard to do when I'm on a call. For you to be the whitest guy on the call, that's only because you're a ginger. That takes like 10 million. Like, how do you, like, if that, let's say that's us. Man. Like, how do you're a financial advisor, stockmarketmentor.com. You're a financial educator. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto in a second. But, like, I wanted to ask you, if that's us, like if someone says like 10 million, like what are you doing with that money? How do you, like in the United States, is OnlyFans taxable income? Is it depending on where you are? It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she would have to tax that as income, and the IRS would definitely take a big chunk of that money. And so she would have to look for ways to lower her income in some way. Maybe put that into a 401k, which is a U.S. like retirement account, or something like that, and just kind of make it go away.
Some charitable donations.
Yeah, some donations. That kind of thing. Pay off debts.
Tie it into an LLC and just pay yourself a salary, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bingo.
Publicly
That's what I was
traded.
gonna say. If you go incorporated, and then she's an employee of the corporation, you get taxed at the corporate tax rate rather than the personal income tax rate. See, I'm going professional corporation at the end of this year, so I know all about this.
Attaboy, as you should. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure that's what she's thinking right now. Actually, I'm sure she's thinking, "Hey, how do I avoid this taxable income?" Because like. That's the other point, Scotty. You bring this up. Who the fuck puts this online, like to show people, just so the government comes after them? Like, I know she's an OnlyFans model and she made $10 million in 9 months. She can't be that smart if she's doing that kind of shit, right?
I don't think she's the only one. Smart. I think there's other Instagram and kind of OnlyFans girls who do that, and they brag about how much money they're bringing in.
I could write this foxtail butt plug off if I just incorporate my business.
They have those butt plugs that have a foxtail in the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Seriously?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. I had no idea. I had
no
idea. Well, good for her. Bad for El Salvador. Did you guys? Did you guys see this? Scott is here from the Hot Wallet podcast. Not good. This is the New York Times. Nearly a year after El Salvador's president made Bitcoin a national currency, his bet on digital coin appears to be backfiring. The value of the company's crypto holdings has plunged, and the country is running out of cash. Now, Scott, you've got the Hot Wallet podcast. You talk to crypto guys all around the world. We've been having a laugh at basically everybody's expense that is in crypto over the past little bit. Not us, and not you. I know you're smart enough.
Fun. It's all good, man. It's been a rough market.
Yeah,
and it has been tough, not just in crypto, but in all asset classes. As we talked about before the show, we just finished the first half of 2022, and we had the worst stock market performance in over 50 years. And so we haven't had this kind of downturn in a long, long time. And so, on the screen, you're seeing not only is crypto down, but the NASDAQ is down, Dow Jones is down, S&P is down. And technically we are now in a recession. And so we're in a bear market, we're in a recession. And, this is something that, I'll be honest, guys, I've been talking to you guys about for a while. I talked about interest rates and how central banks around the world were raising interest rates. And they're doing that to essentially bring down the economy. They needed to slow down the economy because we had a huge amount of demand for everything. And then, of course, the war in Ukraine happened, and that just kind of made everything else of value go up, including gas and food and rent and stuff like that. So, when everything is more expensive around you, risk assets are less attractive. And so with Bitcoin being kind of further down the risk curve, meaning it's more risky to invest in, then it's going to get taken to the woodshed even more than some of these stocks. But we've seen huge drops in every major equity that I can think of. They've given back a huge amount of percentage. So with Bitcoin being down the risk curve, it's risky. It is risky because you get that big move to the upside, but then you also have to sit through that big move to the downside, or sidestep the big move to the downside and wait for it to kind of bottom.
So let me ask you something then. You're saying that, crypto itself isn't to blame for the losses in crypto and NFT and digital tokens and all that stuff. And we've seen it. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but like billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars have been lost because of the devaluation of coins, whether or not it's Bitcoin, crypto, Dogecoin, NFTs. I mean, the bottom has really fallen out. But you're saying it's not because of anything that crypto, Bitcoin, or any of these digital currencies had to do with it. This is predicated on the stock market plunge. This is predicated on us going into a recession. Is that correct? And are we in one?
That's the main part. I mean, there are some things that happen in crypto that were really bad. We kind of had kind of a Lehman Brothers type event similar to 2008. Do you guys remember the stock market crash in 2008?
Oh yeah,
and
the whole housing bubble
and housing, Fannie Mae, everybody subprime
Fannie and
mortgages.
Freddie Mac.
You had people walking out of their mortgage offices with boxes of their shit because they're like,
Totally.
we can't pay it. We're fucked. Like we fucked this whole company. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of had one of those moments in crypto recently with a firm called Three Arrows Capital. And what Three Arrows Capital was doing was they were taking money from anyone. They were the smartest guys in the room. And there's actually, I think there's a documentary called Smartest Guys in the Room, all about, one of these things blowing up. And so, Three Arrows Capital is basically taking money from everyone because they were doing really, really well. They essentially turned like $10,000 into $25 million. And so everyone's like, oh, wow, these guys know what they're doing. And so my numbers are off, but you get the idea. And so they're taking money from everyone. And essentially what they're doing is over leveraging themselves. And so they're leveraged upon leverage. And then what that means is it works as long as it works. And as soon as liquidity dries up, like what we're seeing in the market right now, then we get kind of a domino effect where, they end up getting liquidated, which then liquidates other companies that lent them money. And so, the house of cards comes crashing down. And so what we ended up seeing kind of, to the extreme downside in crypto is a lot of forced selling. People selling not because they want to sell, not because they don't believe in crypto, but because they owe money somewhere else. And so that's why we saw such extreme moves in crypto, because of the amount of over leverage what we saw in the system. Now, we don't know if all of that leverage has been washed out yet. So we may even see more downside to come. But it definitely has been kind of an extreme move up. We saw the extreme move up where Bitcoin went up 700%. And then here we are, getting an extreme move to the downside. And so, that's one of the, it's a benefit, but it's also, definitely one of the things that you have to stay active in the asset class, because you do get that over move, that extended move to the upside, but then you also can get the big move down. And so that's what makes it exciting for traders, is that high volatility. Like, I don't get paid on a daily basis if I buy something and it goes up just 1%.
Yeah.
I get paid, as a trader when it goes up 20%, when it goes up 50%. I mean, those are paydays. So that's why traders love crypto. Because you get that. And in a lot of these exchanges, some of them are overseas, and you can do extreme leverage in some of these exchanges where you can go 10, 20, or 100x leverage on a trade. And so that also creates a lot of volatility. But what my latest podcast, what I did talk to a guy named Tim Peterson about is it's kind of the overall adoption curve when it comes to Bitcoin. And so you can see
explain that, because I'm following finally when it comes to crypto, now that it's kind of going into the toilet, I'm following everything you're saying and I kind of understand it.
Okay, good. Yeah. So
we weren't listening before.
Yeah, no, I was listening. I didn't get it. Now I get
you're
it.
just laughing. You're just laughing before. That's okay. It's fine. Laugh at me when I lose a lifetime of money. No bigs. Okay. So yeah, what you can see here, this is the adoption curve of Bitcoin. So this is a logarithmic chart, and essentially over time, as Bitcoin and digital assets get adopted, that's where the value comes. And so you value networks based on the amount of users in the network, the amount of people using Bitcoin, and the amount of transactions that happen with Bitcoin. So the more people that are using it and the more transactions, the higher the value of the network. It's the same reason that Google is very valuable and Bing is not so valuable, because everyone's using Google and not so many people are using Bing. And that's why Microsoft doesn't treat it as well as it does, say, Xbox, something that is a big revenue generator. And so that's how you think of networks. The more the adoption, the greater the value. And so this is a chart from Tim Peterson on my latest Hot Wallet podcast on some of his research. And so he says we have had that extreme move to the downside, but eventually price should revert to the mean and continue, as long as the adoption continues, continue to follow along that path.
So how much of this is cheerleading, hoping to save certain investments, and how much of this do you think, in your professional view, is unsustainable investing in something that is hard to qualify?
Well, I don't think it's hard to qualify, because you can value the network based on the amount of people using the network. And so I don't think it's hopeful. Every smart investor in the world thinks that blockchain is going to be important within the next 10 years or so. And maybe it got ahead of itself based on a lot of the Federal Reserve intervening in markets and pumping trillions of dollars of money into the stock market and into people's pockets. And so when people have a lot of money, when we're getting checks from the government for not working, what are you going to do with that money? You're going to gamble it. You're going to put it in something.
Smoke some booze.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I personally believe that blockchain and Bitcoin is still going to be a very important role in our lives. That's where most of the smart programmers are going. They're leaving Google, they're leaving Microsoft, they're leaving Facebook, and they're starting up these blockchain companies. And
speaking of Facebook, what am I seeing with Meta? Am I seeing I'm seeing all these CNBC articles in different news organizations? I think you even tweeted about it today. They're like, today's a great day to invest in Facebook. Today's a great day to invest in Meta. If you don't invest in Meta now, you're in trouble. Is Meta in trouble? Because I'm now, I know he's got all the money. I get that he's Mark Zuckerberg. It's still Facebook. He has trillions, but I haven't seen much about Meta that's positive, other than these stupid commercials that go, "Hey, you'll like living in an alternative reality where no one can be mean." And it's like, no, everybody's telling everybody to fuck off on Meta too. It's the same thing. It's just not real. Yeah. But is it tanking? Are we seeing the people at Meta go, we better start raising some money? Because all I see are these articles over the past 2-3 days is pump a bunch of money into Meta, and it's like they're paying for it, almost like it's PR.
It definitely seems like a concerted effort. I heard Jim Cramer talking about Meta 2 weeks ago, and people on CNBC were saying, yeah, I bought Meta and it dropped 18%, but I still think it's a buy. And, don't get me wrong. I'll do that with Bitcoin every day of my life, but I'm a little iffy on something like Meta. So the chart has just been going straight down. Mark Zuckerberg has actually lost about 50% of his net worth over the last 7 months.
Why do I love that so much?
Because he's Mark Zuckerberg and he's terrifying and robotic. And
aren't they tied to a lot of crypto and NFT stuff? Wasn't that all tied into Meta? Could that be a reason why it's crashing so hard? Is because what wasn't NFT? It wasn't Meta supposed to be a home for that?
So they're developing, with Instagram, they're developing a way for you to show off your NFTs on Instagram via the Polygon network. But and they were working on their own digital currency called Libra, which essentially was their competition against the US dollar. And then, that kind of went nowhere. Because it's not a good idea to try and compete with the Federal Reserve.
And essentially, that's what they're doing. Rich? Can you imagine being so rich, Kiv? Can you imagine being so wealthy that you're like, what's left to do? And they're like, let's start our own currency.
Let's make our own money.
What's it? Is he's had such ridiculous success with what would seem like a fairly innocuous concept that so he gets these harebrained ideas. Meta, have you actually studied what it's about and looked into it? I got about an hour down the rabbit hole and went, this is fucking dumb. Literally an hour down the rabbit hole, I went, this is stupid. And it's ridiculous. You can buy real estate in the metaverse. Yeah. There's actually, you can buy a condo in the metaverse
for $100,000 cash.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. Apparently, they roped Snoop Dogg into doing a bunch of shit on there too, and he's got you can buy a house near Snoop Dogg's house in a make-believe world. What's it say though, Scott? Before I don't want to go too far off the Bitcoin thing. What's it say though when we watch every time there's market volatility in the we'll call it grown-up money, as opposed to crypto, but it's tied to it. but aren't they supposed to try and like why wouldn't it be the steady ship that they kept trying to sell you on? Why does it keep dipping when the real money dips?
Oh, why does Bitcoin keep dipping when
the real money?
Market? Well, I think that shows you. I think that shows you institutional adoption. Because,
but I thought they were trying to find like diversity from it and to separate themselves from that, and that was the big sell on crypto.
Well, yeah, I think. I mean, there has been a high correlation, but I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question because I don't know that angle of it.
Just say yes, because he's trying to set you up to admit that it's multi-level marketing.
No, it's not though.
That's not the question at all. I'm being genuine for once. When we're talking about crypto, I'm actually trying to take some interest here.
I thought you were going after him. It's
no.
This is like Amway, right? This has got to be like Amway.
Scentsy candles.
Yeah, so I mean, it is tied 1-to-1 with the correlation has been like 99% to the downside, but it was also 99% to the upside. But again, it just outperformed to the upside, and now it's outperforming to the downside. And again, there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin. There's only 21 million that exist, and so that market, although it is thinner than say the S&P 500. You put $1 billion into the Bitcoin market and price will move. And
what's it worth now? What's it worth today?
20,000.
20,000?
That's the floor for Bitcoin, isn't it?
Well, again, if you listen to my podcast with Tim Peterson, he says he thinks it could go all the way to 10. 10,000 is possible. Again, that would be an extreme move to the downside. And if you bring up that other chart that I brought up or sent you, Dean, it is essentially like a 4-year moving average. Not this one. There's one more that I sent you.
Okay, is it this one? Is it that one?
Yeah, so this is a Bitcoin realized price. And so, every time Bitcoin has been way above that orange line, you have everyone saying Bitcoin is a bubble. And then every time it's below, you have everyone saying Bitcoin is dead. Over and over. Bitcoin's a bubble, Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's a bubble, Bitcoin's dead. And there we were. We were 2 months or 7 months ago, Bitcoin was a bubble. And now here we are underneath, and everyone's saying Bitcoin is dead. When in actuality, when Bitcoin is around and underneath this line, that has been a great time to actually look at Bitcoin and consider allocating some capital to the asset.
You mean buying the dip? Is that what you mean? Buying the dip?
I may have said, I may have been buying the dip. I may have been buying the dip because because every time it's under that line, it's in what they call the value zone. Right. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to pop right out of that value zone. It can stay in that zone for a year, maybe 2 years, and again, it can always go lower. But traditionally, when it does get extended above, that's when you want to look to scale out. When it gets closer, that's when you want to look to get long.
Couple questions.
Sure.
Couple questions for you. Scott, Hot Wallet Podcast, the name of his podcast. Go download it. It's fucking very good. His latest one is really good from a dude at Kane Digital. His name is Tim Peterson. Bitcoin spreading like a virus, where he actually gives you some really good advice on how to diversify, how important gold is, talking about your portfolio. And Scott's an educator. He's not a guy that says, hey, give me your money and I'll go do it. He wants to educate you and give you best practices because he likes to do too. Fucking unbelievable hat, dude's got a cowboy hat on. I want to go investing and roping.
He's based out of Texas.
Let's go investing and roping.
Get on the Roscoe Bitcoin train.
Wow. But I'm excited. I'm actually going to listen to that one because I'm floored by the drop in Bitcoin. I'm also floored by the cheerleading around Bitcoin right now, especially some of the shit coins that have literally gone out of business. Guys were cheering for them right up until they had to shut off their Twitter accounts, right? So,
and one of those, Dean, I was talking about Three Arrows Capital. Yeah. One of those was Terra Luna, and I think we talked about Terra Luna before. So Terra Luna, was falling. It was up to a couple $100, and then it literally fell below zero. And so on the way down, Three Arrows Capital gave them $500 million, bought $500 million worth of Terra Luna, which then turned into that being worth $600. real life.
Oh, that is like, oh,
And these are the smartest guys in the room.
In
Yeah.
the face.
So there,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
there definitely has been a lot of bad actors, but honestly, this bear market, the whole function of the bear market is we flush out all of that garbage. And then what survives can be potentially future technology that we can build on. But the market tests this stuff. The market, I mean, that's the function of the market. It flushed out Enron. Enron was garbage. The market came in, it crushed it. It's tried to kill Bitcoin.
Yeah, Nortel.
Nortel.
The whole tech stock.
BlackBerry. I mean, you can think of one. Everyone can think of one here off the top of their head. That's the function of the market. And so you see that over exuberance to the upside. Everyone gets all frothy, and then they test it and they flush it, and the strong survive.
And then they jump out of airplanes and helicopters like the dude from Briex like 20 years ago. Remember that?
What does that look like that you just
or out their office window
million into $600? Like, what is that? I would love to see that moment of realization on a loop. Just that would be just to see like that dawning, and then just like, oh God.
I think we just got Rob's kink, sadomasochism.
Okay, so yeah, what does that look like? Like, what is like? I would love to be in the room, like, you know, the whole adage, like, man, you should have seen your face. Like, I would love to see the faces of the guy who's like, give our last 500 million to Terra Luna. It's like, here it goes, and they're like, fuck, we fucked it too. Sorry, bro. It's like, so what do you do? Well, it's worth 600. Do you want the 600? Is that what you'd like?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I would like. Yeah, because there's one Asian dude who lost all the money from Terra Luna, apparently.
Do Kwon. Yeah, Do Kwon is the guy. Yeah.
And then he's just started Terra Luna 2. So he lost like a couple $100 billion, and then was like, fuck, I'll just start another one. And there's no recourse for these guys. Like, there are so many people out there. Like, I know I have a laugh at it. I think it's kind of funny, unless it's you, Scotty. But like, what was true yesterday for Bitcoin is not true today, right? So is it still true for you? Like, where are you at? Do you have, because you were pretty bullish on it, and I think you still are from a perspective of let's try to understand it. But has your mind changed? Has your MO changed as an investor? Like, are you got, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a little more leery of this stuff, or are you still bullish on it? Like, is this still something that you're going to put in your portfolio, talk about on a regular basis when you talk to guys about investing and stuff like that?
No, I think I've done more research in the last 6 months as it's kind of gone down, because I had that moment when Elon Musk tweeted that Tesla was no longer going to accept Bitcoin, and when China pulled out of all the Bitcoin mining, and last summer you saw it flush from 50,000 down to 30,000 or something. That was like a fundamental change with the protocol. Like, something is actually happening. This time around, based on the people that I listen to and I follow and I research with, it's more of macroeconomics. And so this whole fall mainly has not had anything to do with the technology of Bitcoin and the technology of some of these crypto. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, there's a lot of garbage out there. There's 20,000 crypto tokens right here today. Not all of them are going to make it. Just like in the .com bubble, there was 20,000 different, companies spurring out. Not all of them made it, but the ones that did became life-changing opportunities. And so that's what I do within these bear markets, is I look for those life-changing opportunities. Which ones are technologically sound? Which ones make sense? Which ones have actual use cases? It's okay to have a token, but what's the point of the token? What does it do? What do I get by holding it?
Right.
Not just, Dogecoin, for example, where the inflation rate of Dogecoin is so much that people would essentially have to buy $1 million of Dogecoin every day forever just to maintain the current price, because the amount of the inflation of Dogecoin. Where Bitcoin, the inflation rate on a yearly basis is like 1%.
Isn't Dogecoin Elon's coin? Isn't that his coin?
It is, yeah. And he's looking for use cases, and there's communities around it that they're trying to do stuff. But again, like, that's what I really get a kick out of, because those are really good future opportunities. Maybe the prices suck right now, but like when Ethereum back in the drop, in the drop of 2018, Ethereum went from like a couple $1,000s to $30. Well, it went up from $30 to to almost $5,000.
Yeah.
That's a life-changing opportunity, Dean. And so now that prices are suppressed, I want to figure out which ones are the good ones. Which ones are the ones supported by major institutions? Which ones actually make sense? And which NFTs are more than just regular JPEGs?
Okay,
because
so I'm listening to you as I'm listening to you talk about which ones you need to kind of focus on, which coins are kind of good, doing your research and stuff like that. All I'm thinking of right now is like, oh my God, all those Wealth Simple crypto commercials disappeared from television this last week.
Weird.
They did, yeah.
One. Like, do you remember we were getting all those like Matt Damon commercials? The future belongs to the bold, like all that stuff, gone. Crypto commercials, gone. Be brave, invest in something that you can't see, gone. All those commercials, like Simple. Here's an easy way for you to get into crypto. There's people on the beach. Get into crypto just on your phone, on the beach. No big deal. Zero, gone. And then I did some reading yesterday, and I was laughing because they're like, yeah, we can't bet on that. Like all the they set up like banks and financial institutions, set up entire fucking verticals for this, like this year. And
brick and mortars.
This year, into the toilet. So what happens with all that infrastructure now? Like, are they just sitting there waiting? Like, because is nobody in banking as smart as you? Because I'm getting that impression. I'm getting the impression you need to start your own bank.
Again, the market flushes out all of the heavy speculation. And so I want to be involved with tokens and projects that don't have that heavy speculation and that have real use cases. And that's where Bitcoin has proven itself over and over again. Where the network hasn't changed.
Yeah. You've got to bleed from your asshole a little bit every time. When you watch a guy like Elon Musk say that Tesla's not going to take Bitcoin, and it literally tanks the entire fucking market. So now let's look at, say, the CEO of McDonald's said, we're not selling the Big Mac tomorrow. It's gonna be a drip in their investment. It will not move anything. It's when
I don't think that's true. I think the Big Mac is one of their biggest sellers.
Same here.
And I think that's a
my
fundamental
favorite thing.
Change.
But it's not going to crash an entire market. And what I'm saying is when that relies on the words coming out of a guy that likes to get pooped on in sex clubs to crash an entire fucking financial institution, that's a problem. And that's why it's hard to, and what you're saying is fundamentally makes sense. And I think it logically makes sense in a logical world where Elon Musk is holding the control panel. That's a problem.
Dude,
Elon he owns Bitcoin.
What's that?
Elon owns Bitcoin.
Like he owns the whole thing?
No. He owns
his words do
Bitcoin.
though.
Oh yeah,
his words do for the entire thing, because it's like first thing you think of when you think of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Elon Musk, Tesla, Dogecoins. Like to the average person, I'm not talking about a guy like you.
19-year-old douchebag dudes. That's what I think of when someone says Bitcoin. I think of them and Greg Foss. I don't think of Elon Musk.
You know what I mean, though? Like when somebody's words, like that,
the strength of Bitcoin, because the whole market is essentially is based on the success of that protocol. If Bitcoin fails, it's going to be a problem for the other 20,000 tokens.
It's almost like it's the hinge that keeps all the other coins kind of somewhat relevant, even though they're kind of not, right? Like Bitcoin is like the plug at the top, and then once that plug drops, it's like fucking over. So
that's how markets work. That's how markets work. If Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, if they report bad quarters, guess what? That's a bellwether for the rest of the market.
Yeah, but if the CEO of Microsoft shows up and says something stupid on the internet, he doesn't crash an entire economy.
This is true as well. Do you remember when Elon's like, we're taking Dogecoin for Teslas, and now Doge goes through the roof, and then he's like, if you're thinking about it, we can't really do that. And they're like, the Dogecoin crashes. Or when he's fucked himself every time he opens up his mouth, to the point where he didn't tweet. Like Elon, I don't know if you saw this. He didn't tweet for like a week and a half. Then the last tweet he put up was the only tweet he's put up in like a week, and it was him at the Vatican meeting the Pope with his with 4 kids that literally looked like homeless kids. Like,
was
and they
so
were his
creepy.
kids. They were his weirdo. And I don't want to say his kids are weirdos. It's wrong for me to say, and no kids are weirdos, but they look like weirdos because they're his kids. So fuck, maybe they were.
I didn't
weirdos.
see. I only saw the one with him and the Pope. I didn't see the kids. So,
But it's almost like he's like, to Ryan's point, and I don't know if you guys follow this kind of stuff. You probably do, Scott, because you're in the market, and you do, Rob, because you're smart and you like to follow this shit. But at the same, like, he hasn't tweeted for a week and a half for, I think, pretty specific reasons. Is because when he does, a bunch of people lose money, right? And a bunch of people he wants to make money for that are investing in him are losing money. And he's still trying to take over Twitter, which he can't seem to close either. So I don't know, man. I'm with Linz on this one a little bit in terms of, like, this guy is like what he says and thinks, and people have him on this fucking weird kind of, monetary philosophical pedestal, like he can do no wrong. The guy is not fucking there. Like, it's not right what he's done to people, what he's done to the market, what he's done to his own stock price in Tesla by leveraging Tesla stock to buy Twitter, and now saying he doesn't really want to buy Twitter. Like, holy fuck, dude. He is like one of the guys that can change so many fortunes like that. Like that, just with a tweet, which is why he's not tweeting anymore. And I think he got clammed for that whole thing. Remember last week? He's like, if you don't fucking come back to work, you're fired. Remember that? Yeah. And everybody went back to work and, like, we don't have any desks. The Wi-Fi doesn't work. There's no parking in the parking lot. It's like he doesn't think before he says shit, right? Or does shit. And he's so much more dangerous now than he's ever been. That's the feeling I get.
Well, my understanding about the reason that they didn't or had to stop accepting Bitcoin was because one of their major hedge funds that are invested in Tesla is called BlackRock. And BlackRock was big on ESG. And with the notion that, Bitcoin mining will boil the oceans, we can't have Tesla accepting Bitcoin because the oceans will boil and be environmentally unfriendly. And while there is a lot of mining that is not environmentally friendly, the movement over the last few years has been to increase its environmentally friendliness. And so that's my understanding of why they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose that ESG status. Yeah,
exactly. Not just that they didn't believe in Bitcoin or anything like that. So it's more about the environmental aspect. But I understand your point. Like, it shouldn't be allowed that one person has that much control over the market. But he's the richest person in the world. And so that's just kind of how it is. If it was Bill Gates doing it, if it was Jeff Bezos doing it, I still think that the market would react because the market likes to follow money.
Well, I'm sorry about your losses. That's all I have to say about that. Like, I'm unhappy for all of my friends that lost money in BTC. Yep. I'm really sad for you that you've lost money in Bitcoin, but hopefully you've diversified and you're as smart as I know you are to have seen some of the warning signs and go, you know what, I'm just going to slide this into gold. I'm going to go slide.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I sold most of my speculative stuff October, November before everything fell down. And then I moved a lot of stuff into what's called a stable coin. And then, I've been adding real money. I've been adding throughout this weakness to buy more and kind of reallocate some of my. Is
it an addiction? Is it an addiction, Scott? Is that what it is? Is it like? And I mean that in the most loose sense.
It's called having life goals. I don't want to work in 10 years, and so I'm trying to retire.
Just like the people that sell me the juice. If I get 10 of my friends, they buy the juice and I can retire.
I don't care if you own Bitcoin, Ryan. That's fine with me.
I'm just saying. Every time we talk about this, it just doesn't sound like it just sounds like a sell every time.
Every time we talk about no, not at all. I think I completely disagree with that sentiment. I think what you love doing is ripping Scott. That's what I think.
No, it's not a rip. It's not a rip because I just want an honest. I want an honest answer from you. I want an honest answer.
He gave you an honest answer. He's like, dude, I don't care. Like, I had to diversify, but he's not like you at the start. You tried to fucking get him to talk about it being a multi-level marketing thing.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Now I am. Right now I am. Not at the beginning. The beginning was a genuine question.
I sent you 2 videos months ago. Hey, man, if you want to understand Bitcoin.
No, I get people that send. You know why?
Just reading the headlines.
Dude, I get people that send me essential oil videos all the time too, and I don't watch those ones either because they're a fucking scam.
He's your friend.
Those are my friends too.
Oh, well, those friends are dumb.
I know Scott isn't dumb. That's the only. You're right, Scott. And yeah, I do have a bad taste in my mouth about the entire thing because it does seem very scammy. So you know what? Those DMs are still there. I'll watch them tonight. I promise. I'll do it. Okay, will they still be relevant today? Now that Bitcoin's in the toilet, are they still relevant? Those videos, or should I ignore them?
The technology is still revolutionary. Okay, the innovation is real. Blockchain innovation is a real innovation. Does it suck that the prices are down? Yes. But the prices are down in everything.
Okay. Yeah. So hold it. Before we let you go, before we let everybody go, so people have questions, like my buddy Darren. He's like, Scott trades. I have a question. We have Bitcoin at 0.075. Is it worth it to keep it, or should we get out of it? Because we got it for free anyway. My brother minded it years ago.
No, I think you should keep it. Now is not the sell time. You want to sell when it's above that orange line. When it gets extended above that orange line, that's when you want to sell. And these trading techniques are all things that I teach at stockmarketmentor.com. We teach you technical analysis. So you enter at the right time, you exit at the right time. I entered crypto at the right time. I exited a bunch of crypto at the right time. I held some. I have some long-term holdings. We have some retirement holdings, some holdings that I don't even look at. I just buy and say, you know what, when I want to retire, I want to make sure that I have this amount of something. And so that's the only crypto that I have right now, because I did sell a bunch of stuff back in October, November, before the entire thing fell apart, because I was following technical analysis. And so, yes, I still own Bitcoin because I still want to own some Bitcoin. Do I own as much as I had before? Not nearly.
Not as bullish. You're not as bullish. Yes.
Well, I'm now the prices have come down this much. I'm starting to get a little more bullish. I'm buying some of the dip. You know why? Because we are getting some signals, and we kind of talked about this before the show started. We are getting some signals that we are in a recession. And by us going into a recession, central banks around the world are going to be less likely to continue to raise interest rates. And the reason they have to pause to raise interest rates is because debt levels in the United States and Canada, around the world, are so high that if they continue to raise interest rates, us as a country, the United States as a country, won't be able to meet our debt obligations. And then the whole thing falls apart. Right. And so if they, once they pause, or once they end up cutting, or now that we're already in a recession, they're probably going to end up pausing or cutting, or at least not going as full as they wanted to. That's when we'll see risk assets ideally start to turn up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, good news is Sheep King says we can pay him in essential oils from now on because Bitcoin has crashed. So that's nice of him. I really appreciate it. And DaCosta went after you too, Linz. We know how much you got it in for Scotty. I don't know why, but you do.
I don't. I love Scott.
He's like,
I do.
Ryan's been so aggressive since he's been in jail. I totally agree.
I did get hardened in there. And
by the way, that is one of the funniest movies, low-key funniest movies on Netflix right now. Get Hard with Will Smith and Kevin Hart. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I watched it at your house while possibly high. And
you guys were on the electric lettuce, that's for sure.
It was I couldn't breathe. It was so funny.
There's a scene in it where Will Ferrell is trying to get ready for prison. So Kevin Hart takes him to a bar where there's all guys. He's like, you got to go into the bathroom and suck a guy's dick. So you got to do it. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, man, because you're gonna have to suck some dick in jail. He's like, all right. So he goes in, finds a guy, and he's like, and it pans over to like the bathroom stall, and it's just you see feet like coming out of the bottom, and then you like because Will Ferrell's kneeling, and then you see the guy stand in front of him, and all you hear is this conversation. He's like, "It's no big deal, right? I was nervous first time I tried karaoke, right? The first time I tried karaoke, no big deal. Let's get through it. Just gonna suck your dick." He's like, "I was gonna suck your dick." Like he just couldn't do it, and then he falls into it and he's slapping it around. It is legitimately one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. Speaking of which, anybody here watching The Boys? Anybody here watch The Boys? Anybody watching The Boys?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, because I got into the other one that you guys told me to watch, that Barry, which is really good.
Barry's great too.
Amazing.
You're not watching The Boys?
I can't watch two things at once.
Dude, you guys have to go watch The Boys today. I know Scotty doesn't have his kids with him right now. That's your job tonight. Rob, I know you're going to be, probably in court tomorrow morning, and you got lots to prepare for. Write this down, The Boys. You have to watch the show. I'm on I think it's season 4, season 3. Is it season 3? I think it's season 3. I'm on season 3. It's the best show you've ever seen in your life, and it's a Seth Rogen show. So there's plenty of ridiculousness in it too. Like, it's just fucking crazy. Ton of pee holes, massive amounts of nudity, lots of orgies, tons of drugs, loads of gratuitous.
How haven't I heard about this? This is right up my alley.
God, dude, you would love it, dude. It's got everything wrong in it, and
like
it's
your
so
client
fucking
base.
funny.
Yeah,
dude.
This is like Tuesday morning.
Yeah, this is the docket for Rob's court tomorrow.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's unbelievable. Anyway, thanks, boys, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Great to see you.
Great to see you guys too. Scotty, you're back tomorrow, correct?
Yes, sir. As long as Ryan's not here.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
try not.
Oh yeah, and the Tamara Lich bail hearing, the decision comes back on Friday.
So she stays in jail?
Yeah, so because he's got 30 to 40 pages. This is just way overkill on the part of the Crown. 30 to 40 pages of notes, and it's back on Friday for the decision. I'm willing to wager that they release her because she's got it. I mean, it's in terms of the Constitution and the right not to be denied reasonable bail without just cause and the severity. It's just it's gratuitous that she was in this long.
I'm starting to agree.
I think it's gratuitous when people breach their bail conditions. Just me.
Also agree with that too. I can see both sides. Who'd have thought that I would be the voice in the room that everybody comes to for some comfort?
You were the centrist.
You're welcome. Rob Kivlichan, ladies and gentlemen, at RKivLaw is where you can find him. Follow him on Twitter, RKivLaw. And if you're looking for criminal defense attorneys, his are the best. And he is an incredible attorney. If you're looking to get your life back, you're looking to figure out some stuff that happened and you need some legal help, you got to walk through it with a guy that knows what he's doing. Go to kivlaw.ca. Again, kivlaw.ca, at RKivLaw. You can follow him on Twitter as well. Do you have any email address in case someone's like, you know what, just give me the email address because I'm in deep shit?
It's on my profile, Robert at kivlaw.ca. It's on my profile on deanblundell.com, Robert at kivlaw.ca.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you doing this. That is my man, Scott
Appreciate
McGregor,
you,
Scott Trades. Yeah, you're the best. At Scott Trades on Twitter. You've got another podcast that I think is just out. In case you missed it, new pod with Tim Peterson from Kane Digital talking about the current market conditions and how gold and Bitcoin could play a part in your portfolio and how you're supposed to wear a hat in a digital picture like that, too. That's what I want to know. Timothy Peterson's Bitcoin Spreading Like a Virus on the Hot Wallet podcast. Active Investing podcast. Scott is the host. It is really good. He doesn't just cover Bitcoin. He covers trends, interviews people in different disciplines in investing and finance, and it's awesome. And he's a former radio guy, so he actually does a fucking great job, too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm actually going to be... I'm going to be interviewing. I was supposed to interview Anthony Scaramucci last week, but it ended up getting pushed back. So I'll be interviewing Anthony Scaramucci this week, and then ideally get that podcast out for.
Wasn't he the Trump press secretary for like 45 seconds or something?
11 days. Yeah.
11 days. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's got a crypto fund, and he may have some insight about a Bitcoin ETF that could be coming. So excited about that. We'll see.
Don't do Scott like that, you two pricks. Don't do that to him. He's like, hey, listen, Anthony Scaramucci has a crypto fund. And then Rob breaks out in laughter. And Lindsay's like this. He's like, shocker.
I can't wait. I do love him. He's a great interview too. Oh,
yeah,
he's so good to watch.
Great accent, and he's also a really bright guy. But actually, the reason why he only lasted last 11 days because he stood up to Trump and Trump
told the truth. Yeah,
that shit. And so that's why he fired him. Anybody who stands up to Donnie Dum Dum gets gassed, and then that's it. Because he needs his bullshit reinforced.
He's got to be the guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He needs guys around him to tell him that he's all right, which he clearly isn't. He's going to go to fucking jail now, which is the best. I can't wait.
When's the next hearing, by the way? Does anybody know? I was looking for that today. Does anybody know when the next Jan 6 hearing is?
No idea. But as a criminal defense attorney, when you're watching these hearings there, Rob, are you like, holy fuck, he's fucked 7 ways to Sunday. This is unbelievable. Boy's going to jail, bud. He's going to fucking jail.
Well, I mean, I don't know, though. I mean, I thought he was done with Grab Her by the Pussy. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was enough, but no. Like the guy's just skated through all this shit. He just keeps sort of. I mean, there is now. I mean, we all knew what he did on January 6th. Like he deliberately started that whole thing just to sort of stop the certifying of the votes of the Electoral College, in which Mike Pence was supposed to preside over, and the peaceful transition of power. That was the whole point. And we all knew what he did, but now it's coming out like how actively involved he was. So I'm, and Americans don't screw around when it comes to this type of stuff. And so I would be shocked if he isn't at least referred to the Department of Justice. And Merrick Garland, the Attorney General for the United States, is no fool. Like, he's a stud.
Yeah, and Liz Cheney just said that she is seriously considering handing over evidence to the DOJ now. Like she made that as an official statement from the committee.
She's like, we might refer charges today.
Yeah,
that was what she said.
He can't run for president.
Exactly.
That's a shame. That was the other thing I heard, is that he was thinking of announcing he was running for president like a year early so he could get out in front of this stuff, because he's literally, every effort that he makes to do anything is to fucking stay out of jail. That's literally like the insurrection was like, fuck, I got to stay out of jail. I treated this whole fucking presidency like it was a bank machine. Jesus Christ, I'm going to get fucked. And then he tried to hang on to power, and he can't do that. And dude, you're watching it. You're watching the House of Cards fall, which is incredible, because you still have people out there going, Donnie Dumps was robbed. And I'm like, fuck, are you not watching any of this shit? It's on every available news channel. He's as criminally fucking insane as you thought he was.
Like,
and maybe
Fox,
more.
Even Fox now is piling on. Fox is saying, well, this might have been a bridge too far. It's like, you fucking think?
They're just trying to pivot to Ron DeSantis. That's what they're trying to do right now.
That's exactly it. Soften the blow. And that guy is a Christo fascist piece of something, I'll tell you.
I can't wait for him to announce his and then see Donald Trump just turn on him automatically, because he went from, while he was being a good dog, he was all over Ron DeSantis saying all these great things about him, and then as soon as he, like he always said, he's like, I'll beat him like I beat the rest of them, and he threw some shots at him. But as soon as Ron DeSantis actually announces that he's running, Trump's going to turn on him. But the thing about it is, if they refer this matter for criminal investigation and he does end up getting indicted, he can't run anyway.
You can't run if you're under indictment.
Not under indictment.
That'll happen, and I bet you it happens this week, dude.
I have a feeling. No, I have a feeling they're drawing it out. I have a feeling they're drawing it out past the midterms, get it nice and near the post before they actually, oh, hey, by the way, here's some papers. We'll see. I think it's a plan to implode the GOP, which is probably not a bad thing at this point in time. So
I don't care. I just want to see him go to jail. Him and his kids. Like, I want to see Donnie Jr. walk out of jail holding his asshole. I want to see burn victim Trump, his son Eric, who I think looks like a burn victim. I want to see him cry when he goes into jail. I want to see. I want to see Ivanka go to jail too, and see if she comes out a more honest woman.
She'd probably run the joint. I think she's actually like legit and highly intelligent. And
Goyo is the new black.
Oh, God.
Yeah. She loves Mexican food, too. Anyway, thanks, boys. Appreciate it. That is at Scott Trades. Follow him on Twitter, Hot Wallet, the podcast. Please go and subscribe to it. He's got a new one coming out. Absolutely appreciate you being here, and we'll see you tomorrow, Scotty. My friend Ryan Lindley hosts the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. He is now unlocked on Twitter. Please go and follow him there, at Ryan Lindley. He admitted to doing something.
Watch for my Jordan Peterson video tonight.
I can't wait.
See ya.
And of course, that was my friend Rob Kivlichan. Rob is the owner, operator, founder of Kivlaw.ca, Kivlaw Defense Lawyers. If you're in trouble, you need some help navigating your life or getting it back, please go to Kivlaw.ca. Follow him on Twitter as well, at rkivlaw. Thanks, buddy. Great to see you.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, buddy. And Scotty, all the best to you, pal. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow as well.
See you, bud.
All right, there you go. Scott Trades, Rob Kivlichan. We've also got Ryan Lindley coming in hot. I think he was half in the bag at the end of that one. That's why he went out. That's why he went after Scotty. Hey, listen, when you have several drinks before 6, sometimes shit happens. We don't really care, though. Everybody's an adult in this room. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to sign up for a newsletter at DeanBlundell.com, and you can sign up for or follow us on Twitter at It's Dean Blundell, D Blundell Show as well. Don't forget to subscribe to all of our podcasts, Google, Spotify, and Apple as well. And YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube. Twitch, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us in the comment section as well. We'll see y'all tomorrow on this very program. Scotty will be back. We'll try and get to some other stuff other than convoy shit. Fuck, I am so tired of talking about the convoy crap. But I got to tell you, as bullish as I was over people getting arrested for hurting citizens of Ottawa, too much, dude. Trudeau's trying to cover something up. Unless he shows us something, I think he's trying to cover stuff up. That's what I think. Hey, dude, and I fucking hate the other side too. Like, absolutely fucking hate them. But Trudski, maybe not on the up and up ski. We'll find out. Have a great day. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Appreciate you being here. And have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.